What does it mean to disappear? I'm Vanessa, 34, a graphic designer who spent 7 years married to Gregory Caldwell, trying to carve a place in his world, a world that never quite let me in. We met in our final year at university, me scraping by with coffee shop shifts and a passion for design, him gliding through on his parents' dime, all charm and ambition. Our romance was a whirlwind. 3 months of late-night talks over my book-strewn counter, a proposal by graduation with a ring that outshone my student debt. I thought marrying him meant joining a family, not just a man. But the Caldwells, affluent, polished, and impossibly tight-knit, were a universe apart from my own upbringing. My single mom worked double shifts. My sister Olivia and I shared a bedroom, crafting holiday gifts from thrift store finds. Their sprawling colonial home, with its manicured lawn and catered events, felt like a movie set where I was perpetually miscast. The scent of their lavender-scented linens and the clink of crystal glasses at dinner linger in my mind, a reminder of the distance between us. I'm standing now in their backyard, clutching a strawberry shortcake I spent hours perfecting, hoping this annual barbecue might finally bridge that gap. But the tension in my chest whispers otherwise, hinting at a fracture that's been growing for years, one I can't ignore much longer. From the start, I was an outsider. Gregory's father, Richard, built a marketing empire, his voice booming with authority as he explained business basics to me, ignoring my own freelance success. Patricia, his mother, ran their social world with military precision, her compliments about my crafty designs dripping with condescension. Amanda, Gregory's sister, a junior executive at 27, corrected my pronunciation of Pinot Noir with a smile that cut like glass. Michael, the younger brother, played the rebel, but still landed a cushy job through family connections. I tried to fit in. God, how I tried. I volunteered for Patricia's charity galas, sent thoughtful birthday gifts, even adjusted my wardrobe to match their casual elegance. But every effort felt like shouting into a void. Amanda's maid of honor speech at our wedding lingered on Gregory's exes. And when we bought our first home, she questioned if it was Caldwell enough. My miscarriage last spring at 11 weeks was the sharpest blow. Gregory was in Chicago, offering to return but sounding relieved when I declined. Patricia sent flowers with a note suggesting it was for the best. Only Olivia showed up, her homemade soup and quiet presence a lifeline. The Caldwell's world, with its polished surfaces and unspoken rules, was suffocating me, and I was starting to forget who I'd been before. That barbecue day, I woke with fragile hope, dressing in a sundress to match Patricia's dress code, my shortcake a peace offering. Gregory was distracted, focused on his father's new imported smoker, urging me to act impressed. The backyard buzzed with caterers and guests, Richard holding court by his grill, Patricia's laugh like expensive crystal. Amanda air-kissed Gregory, gave my dress a once-over and dismissed my dessert to a crowded kitchen pantry. I hovered on the edges, my attempts at conversation cut short, my presence barely registered. Charlotte, Michael's wife, was different. Welcomed as our Charlotte, the pediatric surgeon, despite her newness to the family. I watched, plate in hand, as they moved effortlessly in their world, my own shrinking with every sidelong glance. The air smelled of charred meat and summer grass, but my throat tightened with the weight of being unseen. Something was building inside me, a quiet voice I'd ignored too long, whispering that I deserved more than this half-life. By the time Amanda sat at the picnic table, her smirk ready to strike, I was a coiled spring, waiting for the snap that would change everything. The picnic table was a stage, and I was the uninvited guest. Amanda swept in, her plate a curated masterpiece, commanding attention with a story about spotting a celebrity at her gym. Patricia beamed, Richard leaned in, even old Uncle Frank shifted to hear her better. I sat between him and an empty space, my hot dog cooling, Gregory across from me, engrossed in business talk with his father. I seized a lull to share my latest triumph, a branding project for a downtown bakery. They're launching next weekend, I started, my voice steady despite the eyes skimming past me. Amanda's gaze narrowed, her lips curling. "Is that the place with the tacky neon sign?" she said. I began to explain the vintage-inspired design, but she cut me off with a theatrical sigh. "If you disappeared tomorrow, no one would even notice." The table erupted in laughter. Patricia's titter, Richard's guffaw, Gregory's chuckle as he reached for his beer. The sound crashed over me like cold water, my face burning, hands icy. 7 years of slights crystallized in that moment. Every dismissed achievement, every helpful correction, every time I'd swallowed my pride to belong. I didn't cry or storm off. Instead, I raised my hot dog, met Amanda's eyes, and said clearly, "Challenge accepted." Her smile faltered. A confused silence rippled. Patricia chirped about brisket, and the moment passed, but something in me had shifted irrevocably. The rest of the barbecue was a study in detachment. I observed, not participated, noting how effortlessly the Caldwells moved through their world of privilege. Richard's hearty handshakes, Patricia's calculated hospitality, Amanda's easy charm with everyone but me. Gregory threw me absent smiles, oblivious to the fault line cracking open. I catalogued every exclusion, every moment I was spoken over, the voice inside me growing louder. "You deserve better." As we gathered to leave, I clutched my dessert carrier, its weight a reminder of my futile efforts. The drive home was silent. Gregory scrolling emails about his Tokyo trip, me staring out the window, mental calculations already forming. At home, he noticed my quiet. "Everything okay? You've been off since lunch." I chose my words carefully. "Amanda's joke about me disappearing. Did you think that was funny?" He sighed, unbuckling his seatbelt. "Don't start. Amanda was just being Amanda. You know how she gets." "You laughed," I said simply. "It was a joke, Vanessa. Not everything needs analyzing." He got out, ending the conversation. That night as he slept, I lay awake, the ceiling a canvas for my unraveling marriage. I replayed not just the barbecue but the years before, how I dimmed my ambitions to fit their mold, how my design business dwindled as Gregory's career took precedence, how I'd become a shadow of the vibrant artist I'd been when we met. At 2 a.m., I slipped to my home office, the glow of my laptop a beacon. I researched bank accounts, Seattle apartments near Olivia, bus routes, and moving costs. By dawn, I had a plan, not perfect, but clear. Gregory left for golf with Richard, kissing me absently. The moment his car vanished, I called Jessica, my college roommate who'd stayed loyal despite my isolation. "I'm leaving Gregory today," I said. "Can you help me pack?" "Name it," she replied, no hesitation. 2 hours later, she arrived with coffee and packing tape, her fierce determination mirroring my own. We sorted clothes, documents, my design equipment, only what was mine. The house smelled of lemon cleaner and regret as I packed away 7 years. I transferred half our joint savings to my account, paid my share of bills, and wrote Gregory a letter. I needed space to reevaluate. I'd taken only my belongings. I asked for no contact. I left it on the kitchen counter, my wedding ring beside it, Amanda's joke transcribed verbatim below. Holding our wedding photo, I whispered, "Goodbye," to the hopeful girl I barely recognized. Then walked out, the door clicking shut behind me. The engine hummed as I crossed the state line, the dashboard lights casting a soft glow on my knuckles, white from gripping the wheel. Terror and exhilaration battled in my chest, each mile loosening the knots that had bound me for so long. Seattle was hours away, but already the air felt fresher, untainted by the Caldwells' polished expectations. I checked into a modest hotel that night, the kind with threadbare carpets and a humming vending machine down the hall. Nothing like the luxury suites Gregory insisted on. My separate credit card covered it, a quiet act of foresight from early in our marriage. The room was simple, clean, and mine. After texting Jessica and Olivia that I'd arrived safely, I turned off my phone, curled under the stiff blankets, and slept deeper than I had in months. Dreams flickering with open roads and blank canvases waiting for my designs. Morning brought the first barrage of messages when I powered on my phone briefly. Gregory's texts evolved predictably. Confusion at first. "Where are you? Call me." Then irritation. "This is ridiculous. Come home so we can talk." Concern crept in next. "Your mother is worried. At least let her know you're safe." Followed by anger. "You're being incredibly selfish. I have the Tokyo trip in 3 days." And finally resignation. "Fine. Take your space. We'll talk when I get back." Not once did he mention Amanda's joke or his own laughter. No acknowledgement of the years I'd faded in his shadow. I sent a quick text to my mom, assuring her I was okay but needed privacy, then shut it off again. The challenge was underway. Disappearing meant untangling from the Vanessa who'd been Gregory Caldwell's wife, rebuilding from the fragments of who I'd been before. Seattle greeted me with relentless rain, sheets of it drumming on my windshield, as Olivia helped unload my car into a month-to-month studio apartment in her neighborhood. The space was tiny, with bay windows overlooking a misty park and floors that creaked underfoot. "It's nothing fancy," she apologized, stacking boxes in the corner. "But the location's great and the landlord's discreet." "It's perfect," I said, tracing the worn kitchen counter. "It's just mine." The rain outside mirrored the cleansing I felt inside, washing away the residue of suburban perfection. That first week blurred into practicalities. I opened a new bank account at a local credit union, set up mail forwarding through Jessica to avoid trails, bought a phone with a Seattle number. Freelance profiles got updated, my portfolio scrubbed of Caldwell-linked projects. Gregory's messages shifted to bargaining. "Whatever's going on, we can work through it. Just come home." I stayed silent, not from spite but survival. Responding would pull me back into their orbit. Therapy started with Dr. Lewis, a specialist in family dynamics, our sessions raw and draining. What Amanda said wasn't the cause, she noted in our third meeting. It was the catalyst. I nodded, unleashing memories of first slights, subtle digs as helpful advice, achievements minimized, Gregory's complicit silence. By month 2, 3 steady clients came via online platforms, ebook formatting, social media templates. The work was rote but paid bills, each invoice rebuilding my confidence. One rainy Tuesday, I ducked into Eleanor's coffee shop, drawn by a vibrant wall mural. The barista chatted while steaming my latte, the owners looking for menu redesigns. An hour later, I sat with Eleanor, her silver-streaked hair and direct gaze refreshing. "Skip the resume," she said. "Show me your personal stuff. The art you can't not make." I pulled up old experimental designs, buried for years. "You've been hiding," she observed. "These are good but recent?" "No," I admitted. "Not since I started compromising for my in-laws' world." I shared an abbreviated story, the passion dulled, the Caldwell aesthetic overtaking mine. She listened then, hired for the menus but one condition, a personal piece weekly. "Bring it when we meet, find your voice again." Eleanor became mentor and friend, her blunt feedback sharpening my skills, introductions to local businesses filling my calendar. Projects engaged me now, not depleted. Branding for artisans, logos with soul. Meanwhile, Gregory's contacts dwindled. Divorce papers filed through lawyers met with his barrage of calls I ignored. Proceedings advanced clinically, his resistance fading. 4 months in, I checked his social media. Him at events with a new woman, Richard's proud posts about Tokyo deals, Amanda's missing no one family dinner caption. The sting was mild, confirmation liberating. I'd been invisible there, but here, I mattered. By month 6, papers finalized without contest. Clean asset split, no alimony. His note, "I still don't understand, but I won't fight anymore." That night, I cut my hair into a bob, the mirror reflecting a clearer-eyed woman, lines of experience adding depth, not defeat. 8 months in, my design business demanded more than my apartment's cramped desk. I rented space in a cooperative studio, surrounded by artists who debated ideas freely, their energy infectious. The hum of printers and scent of fresh coffee grounded me, a far cry from the isolation of Gregory's intermittent home life. Colleagues valued my input. Sarah, a sculptor, sought my advice on her website. Jamal, an illustrator, collaborated on a mural concept. For the first time since college, I had a community that challenged without diminishing. As the anniversary of my departure neared, the Caldwells faded from my thoughts, no longer daily specters but echoes of a closed chapter. My world expanded. A branding project for Rainier Artisan Foods won regional awards, drawing magazine features. A workshop comment led to a speaking invite at a creative conference. 1 year after Amanda's joke, I was visible, valued. My presence mattered on my terms. The email from Westwood Creative hit exactly 52 weeks later, seeking designer for national campaign. My Rainier work had caught their eye for Sheffield Consumer Brands' organic line. The name nagged until I researched. Sheffield was a Caldwell marketing subsidiary. Coincidence or orchestration? I called Eleanor, now my confidante. "It could be legit," she said. "Your campaign's been in industry pubs." "But the timing," she cut in. "The question is it worth it regardless?" I requested details. Substantial budget, long-term potential. After 3 days' deliberation, I accepted the initial meeting. If Caldwells were involved, I'd face it head-on. If not, I wouldn't let fear stall my progress. Thomas, Westwood's director, was professional, discussing concepts and timelines without hinting at my history. I signed on, boundaries firm, communication through channels, clear approvals. For 3 weeks, normalcy reigned, positive feedback on prelims, no Caldwell mentions. Then the announcement, Sheffield's rebrand unveiling at the Marketing Innovation Gala, my attendance encouraged. The event was industry gold, but Caldwell's never missed such networking. Dr. Lewis outlined options: decline and risk growth, avoid them stressfully, or engage on my terms. What would today's Vanessa do? She asked. Last year's me would hide. Now I emailed confirmation, booked a stylist via Olivia, allocated advance funds for an outfit, armor for the night ahead. The gala evening, I stood in my hotel mirror, emerald jumpsuit sophisticated yet bold, bob accented with highlights, designer shoes boosting confidence. My eyes held no apology, just readiness. The restored theater lobby glittered, cocktails circulating amid strategic lighting. Thomas introduced me to executives, business cards stacking as we debated trends. 40 minutes in, the room's energy shifted. Richard's laugh confirmed their arrival. I finished a conversation before scanning. Richard and Patricia holding court, Amanda absent initially, Gregory apart, looking thinner, diminished. Our eyes met, his widened in shock. I held steady, then turned away deliberately. Richard approached first, examining the program. Vanessa, he said neutrally, quite a surprise. I'm leading Sheffield's rebrand, I replied calmly. He blinked. I hadn't connected it. Westwood's handling creative externally. Yes, prelim testing's positive. He reassessed me. Your work's evolved. Return to authentic roots, I corrected. Patricia's here, she'd want to say hello. Of course. As he left, I rejoined Westwood, noting Patricia's composure slip as she searched for me. The presentation loomed. Thomas guided me backstage. Amanda intercepted. No one mentioned you. Her tone implied fault. I'm with Westwood, I said. Thomas interjected. Vanessa's exceptional. We're family, or were, Amanda replied tightly. Excuse us, Thomas said. The presentation blurred. I discussed philosophy, metrics, answered questions expertly. Applause swelled. From stage, Caldwell's watched. Patricia neutral, Richard nodding, Amanda unreadable, Gregory intense. Post-presentation, compliments flowed, connections formed. This validation mine alone. As crowds thinned, Gregory approached. You look well? Thank you. I didn't know Seattle? Intentional. Impressive presentation. You always were talented. I corrected. He looked down. I've thought about Amanda's joke everything before. This year's been clarifying. I miss you. The words, once craved, arrived late. No triumph stirred, just certainty. I need to join my team, I said. Tomorrow's workshop? Yes, digital segment. Coffee after? I conceded. Half an hour. Relief flickered. Patricia appeared. Delight to see you thriving. Her discomfort showed. Patricia. We've missed you. No shortcake like yours. Interesting. Mine went to the pantry. Amanda's centered. Her smile faltered. Misunderstanding. Multiple over years. Now fewer occur. Dinner called. I excused myself, joining Westwood across from them. The evening wore on without further Caldwell entanglements, their table a distant murmur across the room. I declined the team's after-party invite, opting for my hotel's quiet, where I kicked off my shoes and stood at the window, city lights twinkling like distant possibilities. The confrontations I'd half dreaded had unfolded not as battles but affirmations. I'd faced them as equals, my voice steady, my worth self-evident. Sleep came easy, unburdened. Morning sunshine filtered through curtains as I prepped for the workshop, notes crisp, outfit professional yet comfortable. The conference center buzzed with attendees. Richard conversed intently with Thomas by the coffee station, their talk businesslike. I reviewed slides one last time when Amanda entered, her gaze landing on me after a scan. She approached, coffee clutched tightly. Good morning. Thomas speaks highly of your work. He's an excellent director, I replied. The team's exceptional. I didn't realize you'd established in Seattle. Last night's presentation was impressive. From Amanda, this was effusive. Thank you. Father's considering bringing Sheffield in-house post-campaign. He's impressed. The subtext, my work might vanish or be claimed. Insecurity flickered, then faded. Richard's prerogative, but Westwood protects attribution contractually. Her expression tightened, the facilitator called seats, ending our exchange with nods. Sessions delved into market analysis. My digital integration segment preceded lunch. I presented confidently, demonstrating AR features linking packaging to ecosystems. Questions were engaged. Richard queried timelines, which I answered precisely. Gregory arrived timed for my slot, slipping in back. Post-session, he was intercepted by an executive. I stepped to the courtyard for air. The garden's blooms a serene contrast to indoor intensity. Patricia appeared. Her approach no accident. Excellent timing for escapes, she observed, sitting uninvited. I call it recognizing needed space. She studied me. You've changed. Reverted to before-fitting ill-designed spaces. She sighed. Families are complicated, especially ours, expectations, traditions. Aware, 7 years observing, meeting them. Perhaps not always welcoming, she conceded, nearest to apology. But disappearing dramatically? Left a letter, handled finances adultly, removed from harm. Gregory was devastated. Inconvenienced, I corrected. Difference. Her facade cracked. You don't know this year's impact, nor you the prior 7s. Silence stretched, I continued. Not exchanging pain metrics, here for my work's value. Something shifted, not full respect but awareness. Stubborn. Determined, I smiled. Distinction. Heading back, she asked, closing dinner? Yes, salmon's excellent. Mundane, almost normal. It disoriented briefly. We separated at tables. Afternoon focused on strategies. I participated actively, neither seeking nor evading Caldwell's. Workshop closed. Gregory approached. Still coffee? Yes. Lobby shop, his Americano, my latte, familiar yet nostalgic. Awkwardness thickened. Seattle suits you. Creative communities welcoming. I've been in therapy since you left. Dad dismissed it, but it's helpful. Surprise hit. He'd once mocked therapy. Glad. Mine unpacked our marriage. Family. He met my eyes. Understood how I failed seeing your erosion. Easier not to. Unexpected, disarming. Glimpse of a thoughtful man I'd loved. Thank you. Didn't stand up against Amanda, Mom, my expectations you'd adapt. No. That barbecue, her joke, I laughed, didn't grasp challenge accepted as independence declaration. Voice mixed admiration, regret. We talked an hour, beyond allocated. Family shifts, his, Amanda's criticism extending to his girlfriend, Patricia's control, Richard's disappointment at his declined promotion. Seeing everything differently, he said. Cups empty, conclusion natural. Any chance for us eventually? Affection lingered, but tether severed. We needed becoming different. I like who I'm becoming. He nodded gracefully. You were always stronger. We both were, needed circumstances to discover. Brief hug, closure. I wished him authentic life. Final confrontation, collecting portfolio. Amanda entered purposefully. Honest answer. Took project knowing our connection. No. Discovered post-acceptance, contract signed. Didn't recuse? Why? Skilled for it, family incidental. Coincidence year later? I smiled. Life symmetries, but yes, don't believe conveniences. Alternative, year-long scheme rebuilding career, relationships. For this, overestimates your thought space. Blunt. It landed, she blinked. Barbecue joke, just joke, never thought you'd leave. Articulated year's message, dispensable. Right in your context, discovered others where not. Composure slipped, uncertainty. Gregory's changed, finding his way as I. No reconciliation, acknowledged truth, found peace. She nodded. At door, presentation genuinely good, regardless. Sincerity, I thanked equally. Leaving for dinner prep, lightness settled, faced each, boundaries clear, Caldwell's properly proportioned. People with flaws, not life definers. Dinner unfolded easily, tables separate. Colleagues introduced me as Sheffield's brilliant designer. Richard acknowledged courteously. Patricia complimented my dress at dessert. Amanda's trends presentation included my design slide, attributed, unthinkable shift. Evening closed, contacts exchanged, steps confirmed, goodbyes. Gregory wished safe travels sincerely. Leaving, satisfaction bloomed, not triumph, but sovereignty reclaimed. Caldwell's now past acquaintances, not present anchors. The hotel's silence enveloped me as I returned from the dinner, the city's pulse a faint hum through the window. I slipped off my jumpsuit, the fabric whispering against my skin, and stood in the quiet, replaying the gala's moments, not as wounds but as milestones. I'd faced the Caldwells not as the anxious outsider, but as a professional whose work commanded respect. The realization settled like a warm ember. Amanda's challenge had been a catalyst, not a verdict. Sleep came swiftly. Dreams threaded with bold lines and vibrant colors, echoes of my reclaimed designs. Morning arrived with a crisp Seattle drizzle, perfect for the workshop's final day. I chose a tailored blouse and slacks, practical yet sharp, my notes tucked under my arm as I entered the conference center. The air smelled of fresh pastries and ambition. attendees mingling over coffee. I caught Richard's eye mid-conversation with a Sheffield executive, his nod professional but distant. My focus stayed on the task, a panel on cross-platform branding where I'd share insights alongside industry peers. The room filled, and I felt a quiet thrill. Here, my voice mattered. My ideas landed without interruption. The panel went smoothly, my points on integrating print and digital sparking lively debate. Attendees scribbled notes. A young designer approached afterward, asking for portfolio tips. Her earnestness reminded me of my university self, before the Caldwell's world dimmed my spark. Lunch brought a chance to network, business cards piling in my clutch. As I sipped sparkling water, I spotted Amanda across the room, her tailored blazer framing a slight pregnancy bump, a detail I hadn't noticed last night. She was laughing, but her eyes scanned restlessly, perhaps for me. I didn't avoid her, but I didn't seek her out either. My orbit no longer revolved around their gravity. The afternoon session focused on campaign rollouts, and I contributed data from Sheffield's early retailer feedback, 20% higher engagement than projected. Thomas beamed, whispering, "You're killing it." The validation, earned through my craft, felt purer than any Caldwell approval. As the workshop wound down, I gathered my materials, the room emptying into chatter. Gregory lingered near the exit, his posture less assured than yesterday. "Coffee still on?" he asked, almost tentative. I nodded, and we walked to the lobby shop, the same barista steaming my latte with a smile. We sat, the table a small island in the bustling space. "You're different here," he said, stirring his Americano. "Freer." "I am," I agreed, the steam from my cup warming my fingers. "Seattle's given me space to be me, not someone's idea of me." He leaned forward, eyes searching. "Therapy's made me see things, how I let Mom and Amanda shape our marriage, how I didn't fight for you." His honesty stung, not with pain but recognition. "I appreciate that, Gregory, but I had to fight for myself." He nodded, swallowing. "I'm trying to change, be less of Dad's shadow. It's hard." "It is," I said softly, "but worth it." Our talk stretched, touching on his new girlfriend, kind but cautious, wary of the Caldwell machine, and his therapy breakthroughs. I shared fragments of my journey, Eleanor's mentorship, the studio's camaraderie. When our cups emptied, we stood, the hug brief but genuine. "Good luck, Vanessa," he said. "You too," I replied, meaning it. Back in my hotel room, I checked my phone, messages from Olivia and Jessica, cheering my gala success. A new email from Thomas. Early retailer data showed orders spiking. Sheffield execs thrilled. I smiled, the numbers a quiet triumph. But the real victory was internal. I'd faced the Caldwells without shrinking, their presence no longer a threat but a footnote. Amanda's Instagram popped up unbidden, a baby shower announcement captioned "Family First." Comments from Caldwell allies flooded in, none mentioning me. It didn't hurt. It confirmed what I'd known. My absence hadn't rippled their world. Yet here, in my world, I was building something solid: clients, community, a self I recognized in the mirror. The next day's closing dinner loomed, another chance for encounters, but I felt ready, armored not with resentment, but with purpose. I disappeared from their narrative to write my own, and the pages were filling fast with colors I chose. The closing dinner unfolded in a grand ballroom, its chandeliers casting a warm glow over linen-draped tables. I sat with the Westwood team, my tailored navy dress striking a balance between elegance and restraint, the fabric cool against my skin. The Caldwells were across the room, their table a hub of polished laughter, but the distance felt natural, not forced. Conversations with colleagues flowed easily. Thomas toasted our campaign's early success, and a brand manager from a rival firm leaned in, intrigued by my Rainier project's buzz. Each nod, each question, grounded me in this new reality where my work spoke first. I savored the roasted salmon, its herb crust sharp on my tongue, and caught Patricia's eye briefly as she circulated, her smile practiced but fleeting. I returned it with a nod, no longer compelled to bridge the gap. My focus stayed on the present, a discussion about scalable design systems, a shared laugh over a spilled wine glass, the clink of forks punctuating ideas. As dessert was served, lavender panna cotta, a nod to Pacific Northwest flair, Amanda approached, her steps deliberate, the pregnancy bump more pronounced under her silk blouse. "Vanessa," she said, voice low, "can we talk a moment?" I gestured to an empty chair, curious but guarded. She sat, smoothing her napkin. "I've been thinking about our conference talk. What you said about contexts being dispensable in ours, valued elsewhere. Her fingers tightened around her water glass. It hit me. I'm seeing it now, preparing for this baby. She hesitated, vulnerability flickering. Everyone's got opinions on how I should parent, what kind of mother I need to be. It's suffocating. I nodded, recognizing the weight of expectations I'd once carried. Contexts shape us, Amanda, but they don't have to define us. She exhaled, almost relieved. Charlotte mentioned your parenting classes, I added. That's a strong start. Her eyes widened slightly, surprise at my knowledge, perhaps, then softened. It's helping me see patterns I never questioned, family stuff. I heard the unspoken, her role in perpetuating those patterns, my role as their target. Self-awareness is powerful, I said. I hope it's a good beginning for you. No absolution, just acknowledgement. Our history was too layered for easy fixes. She nodded, stood, and murmured thanks before returning to her table, her stride less certain. Later, Richard caught me at the dessert station, a plate of petit fours in hand. Vanessa, the Sheffield campaign's generating talk. Strong work. His tone was professional, no trace of the condescension I'd once endured. Thank you. The team's been exceptional. He shifted, as if weighing more words, then said, We're discussing future collaborations. Thomas would loop you in. A door opened, but cautiously. I'd consider it, with clear terms, I replied, steady. He nodded, moving off, and I felt no need to chase his approval. The evening wound down. I exchanged contacts with a magazine editor interested in profiling my studio work. Gregory lingered near the exit as I gathered my clutch, his expression softer than yesterday. Safe travels, Vanessa. You've built something incredible here. Thanks, Gregory. You're finding your way too. No hug this time, just a shared glance of mutual respect before I stepped into the cool night air. Back in my room, I slipped off my heels, the carpet grounding my bare feet. The city's skyline glittered beyond the window, a canvas of possibility. I'd navigated the Caldwells with clarity, not as the diminished wife, but as a woman whole in her own right. Amanda's admission, Richard's respect, Gregory's growth, they weren't victories over them, but confirmations of my own. I opened my laptop, drafting a thank you note to Thomas, my fingers steady on the keys. A notification pinged. A new client inquiry, sparked by the gala's buzz. The challenge Amanda had set, disappearing unnoticed, had been met not with vengeance, but with reinvention. I'd vanished from their world to emerge in mine, where my designs, my voice, my presence were undeniable. As I shut down my laptop, the quiet wasn't empty but full. Of plans, of purpose, of a life I was building, piece by vibrant piece. 1 month post-conference, I met Eleanor at our corner table in her coffee shop, rain pattering the windows like a gentle rhythm to our words. Sheffield launches next week, she noted, refilling my cup. Satisfying after everything? It is, I said, steam curling up with the scent of fresh brew. Thomas called, retailer's response overwhelming, discussing extensions. And Caldwell's? I pondered. Professionally cordial. Richard's director reached out for collaborations, contracts clear, undecided yet. Evolution, from outcast to resource. Life's symmetries, I smiled. The Sheffield visibility surged inquiries, my portfolio now pure, authentic voice shining. Divorce finalized smoothly, Gregory fair, even generous. I kept my grandmother's ring, granted without argument. Therapy with Dr. Lewis bi-weekly now, shifting from trauma to patterns, self-discovery. Healing's transformation, she said, incorporating experience without definition. Jessica visited, hiking Discovery Park, noting my deeper laugh. From belly, not throat, like permission granted yourself. Subtle shifts. Casual dating, no rush, community garden, joy and growth, friendship with Charlotte, shared outsider tales. Amanda's parenting classes, she revealed over lunch. Pregnant, breaking patterns. Surprising but encouraging shifts visible post-departure. 6 weeks later, farmer's market bustle, produce scents mingling with earth. Selecting tomatoes, a familiar voice, Amanda at the cheese stall, bump visible, softer silhouette, eyes met, hesitation, then approach. Vanessa, didn't know you shop here. Saturdays, heirlooms best, awkward pleasantries, market, weather, launch. Then direct. Thought about conference, dispensable versus valued contexts, discovering similar in motherhood prep. Bag adjusted uncomfortably. Everyone advises change. Contexts shape, not define, I said. She nodded. Classes helping recognize patterns, family normal I never questioned. Unspoken parallel to my journey. Powerful awareness. Vulnerability surfaced. Don't want my child feeling need to disappear to be seen. Admission deeper than expected. No easy forgiveness, history complex, but acknowledgement. Good start. Parted neutrally, no promises, just intersection. Walking home, bags heavy with vibrant veggies, I reflected on the arc, from barbecue to this. Amanda's joke catalyzed transformation, disappeared from diminishment, reappeared valued, lost conformity family, built authenticity community, abandoned compromise security for self-determination adventure. Closed on a Waterview house last week, modest earnings bought. Arranging furniture, hanging art for my pleasure, profound home creation sense. Irony, disappearing made visible, to colleagues, friends, self. Evening, skyline glittering against water, journal open. Disappear from others' narratives to discover own. Powerful response to unseen, not demand from blind, find celebrating context. Opposite disappearing, fully present, external validation unnecessary. Woman toasting hot dog year ago, unimaginable journey. Writing now, no return. And there in triumph, quiet victory reclaiming life. As the days stretched into a gentle rhythm, I found myself lingering more often by the water's edge near my new home. The waves lapping softly against the shore like a soothing lullaby that whispered of peace earned through quiet persistence. The sharp edges of old hurts had softened, much like the fading light of evening that painted the sky in hues of lavender and rose, reminding me that time heals not by erasing, but by weaving scars into a tapestry of strength. My designs now flowed with an effortless grace, each project a small celebration of the voice I'd rediscovered, and the people around me, Olivia with her steady presence, Eleanor with her wise nudges, even the casual connections from the garden, formed a network of warmth that felt organic, unforced, like roots finding their way through fertile soil. Reflecting on Amanda's words at the market, I felt a subtle release, not of forgiveness demanded, but of understanding that everyone's path winds differently. And mine had led to this serene harbor where I no longer sought validation from distant shores. Gregory's growth, the family's subtle shifts, they were distant echoes now, harmonious in their irrelevance to my daily joys. In the quiet evenings, as I sipped tea and watched the stars emerge one by one, a profound contentment settled. The kind that comes from knowing you've built a life not in spite of the storms, but because of the wisdom they imparted. And so, with each breath drawn in this space of my own making, I embraced the whisper of tomorrow, gentle and full of promise, fading into the night like a secret shared only with the wind.